some time.
Oh, pleasure.
I've got to see quite a bit of footage, first in New York and here in New Zealand. And at the presentation, you guys mentioned that when you were designing the Alita character, it's been through like 5,000 iterations, perfecting all the different parts of it. Can you talk about, for your team's perspective, the most challenging part of realizing that character on screen?
Yeah, I guess for us, Robert had a design, and that evolved. But the huge part of my work and my involvement was making sure that whatever shape that design took, we'd be able to capture the facial performance from Rosa and translate all the nuances and details from that performance onto this digital character. For me, that was like a complete evolution in my understanding of how a face works. Like I've done faces in the past, but I've never done faces like this before. Mm-hmm. We spent a lot of time, talking to plastic surgeons and trying, digging in to understand the understructure of a face in order to understand how the outer structure works. And so we spent a lot of time working on that over the last couple of years. And that was the biggest challenge in creating Alita.
And there's a lot of other non-human characters as well, different
That's true.
shapes and sizes as
Yeah.
well. Can you talk about some of the difficulties or challenges in bringing those characters to life, especially in things like action sequences?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of great characters in this film, and some of them are big cyborg characters with a lot of weight. And for example, Jackie plays Grishka, who's a 10-foot tall mech, and Jackie is closer to 5 feet. So when we're taking that performance, we've got to make sure we're breathing, physics and weight into that character. So a performance like that needs to be augmented in order to put weight into it. So you could take a performance, just slow it down, but that's actually not how weight works on something like that. You've got to adjust all the returns of the arms swinging and make it all feel physically correct. So we put and that would be just for drama stuff. As you get into action scenes, we end up doing keyframe performances as well, and pulling cool lines of action and poses and strong silhouettes into the characters, and just kind of amping everything up in order to kind of make it look all that much more beautiful.
And now that you're nearing the finish line and you get to see some of these shots that are finished or near finished, what's your favorite moment to watch on screen?
Yeah, the thing, there's so many great moments. Like we've got high action scenes and we've got really beautiful drama and little subtle details. I think the thing that I get a kick of is all the stuff that probably breezes by and people don't even notice. But, like when we deal with that interaction, we spend a lot of time making sure it's all working correctly. When Rosa kisses Hugo and their lips come apart, her lips sort of suck and pop off his lips. And it's just it's a small little thing, but it's like those little details. You're like, oh yeah, that was worth putting that in, just because it's like that extra little kiss of beauty and realism that is in that. And the shots are sprinkled with that level of detail. And I think that's the thing that raises the bar on this character.
Coming into a film like this, Alita is a character unlike any other, but you've worked on action films like X-Men. Yeah. You did work on Avatar. Yeah. What are some of the biggest learnings from that you brought into this one?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that the thing for me is I want to execute what's in Robert's head, and Robert's giving us direction on a story and a character that he wants to breathe life into, and depending on the problem he's trying to solve or the story he's trying to tell in any one moment, we need to be able to give him options and provide him with a variety of solutions. So I think that for me, being able to kick off a bunch of different ways of dealing with one problem and go, cool, here's 3 ways we could do this, allows him to go, oh yeah, kind of like that, but maybe a little bit of this. And it gives him a little bit more of a visual kind of thing to respond to rather than, trying to attack it with words. So I want to provide directors with options and pictures and as a way of moving their ideas along. Because for a long time, each shot spends a lot of time in a sort of a previs or a blocking stage in order to understand its structure on its own and in relation to all the other shots, whether it's working in the broad story, the structure of the scene, or as a shot itself. All those things have to fit, and that requires like a bunch of different things that have to line up right. And so yeah, it's that type of problem solving that is the thing that we try to attack.
Speaking of Robert is no stranger to experimentation.
No.
From styles of film to 3D to even some VR stuff now. Can you talk about working with him on a project like this?
Robert is so cool. He's like, the thing about Robert is he understands so much about filmmaking. He's super smart, and he understands so much about visual effects. I mean, the guy can kind of do it all himself. So it's really great to work with him because he brings awesome vision to what we're doing, and yet he's totally personable and collaborative. And so he's got all these ideas, and he wants to know what your ideas are. And it's just like it's really exciting to be working with somebody like that who's like, hey, and what do you think about this? And you're like, well, I think, so it's a great place to kind of like bring your ideas. And it was a really collaborative, awesome experience.